Hi. Every Monday before I get ready to do this broadcast, I take a little bit of time to close the door, reflect on what I'm going to say. And it dawned on me that I got the title wrong for this week. So I quickly went into my Slide Master and crossed it out and changed it. And the origin of this week's broadcast came from a friend of mine who had recently lost their job. And they kind of reached out, and it was very sudden, and they didn't see it coming. So I can tell many of you have probably been there or in a situation or circumstance that's similar. And they kind of asked my advice. And here's what I told them. The first thing I said is don't freak out. Because when we freak out, we have a tendency to make decisions that often aren't in our best interest. We feel like we have to maintain and get back the status quo that was there before that emotional event sent us into a tailspin. And a lot of times we just grab the first thing that passes by us. In the career world, it's often referred to it as rebound job hunting. The relationship ended. Let's get another relationship as quick as we can, and everything will be okay. So at any rate, while I sat this morning thinking, it crossed my mind that don't freak out isn't probably the best way to look at it. The best way to look at it is to say, have some confidence in who you are, have some confidence in what you've done and what you've accomplished in your life and in your career. Take a deep breath and realize that one day, probably very soon, things are going to be back to the way you want them. And my experience has been, in most cases, it's going to be even better. When you have faith and confidence in your ability, you know one thing: life isn't fair. It never has been, and it never will be. But what you and I can do when we believe in our ability and simply believe in our innate goodness is that we can move forward and we can create new vistas for ourselves that weren't there a while back. Short story long, it's all right there. So I'm with you. Hope you have a great week, and I will talk to you next week. And just remember, no matter what happens this week, believe in who you are and believe in your ability to compensate and to overcome. I'm John Jerkowitz, and I hope you have a great week.